see you've come here for an education. Oh, that's very encouraging. Most children aren't interested in science. Well, this is my museum. I want to show you my wonderful spider collection.
I don't like spiders, I don't like witches, and I don't like you at all.
Little boy, remember our bargain.
Yeah.
Spiders are such endearing little creatures, very much like you. But before I show you my most renowned prizes, do tell me, are you pleased with your excursion so far? I mean, you're not afraid, are you? Well, why? Why? There's been nothing frightening yet. It's all been so tame so far. You don't want to wake up, do you?
Well, I wouldn't mind.
Well, you can't wake up. Well, now we'll take you on the tour. Welcome to the Museum of Natural Horrors. Now, moving right along here. Now, please, young man, don't touch the displays. Oh, that's very cute. Now, here we have Arachnida, the spiders, our finest collection. This friendly little devil is the Heptatheridae, unfortunately harmless. Now, over here, the nasty Lycosiraptoria. His tiny fangs cause creeping ulcerations of the skin. Yes, and here is my prize, the Black Widow. Isn't she lovely and so deadly? Her kiss is 15 times as poisonous as that of the rattlesnake. You see, her venom is highly neurotoxic, which is to say that it attacks the central nervous system, causing intense pain, profuse sweating, difficulty in breathing, loss of consciousness, violent convulsions, and finally, death. You know, I think what I love most about her is her inborn need to dominate, to possess. In fact, immediately after the consummation of her marriage to the smaller and weaker male of the species, she kills and eats him. Oh, she is delicious. And I hope he was. Oh, such power and dignity, unhampered by sentiment. If I may put forward a slice of personal philosophy, I feel that man has ruled this world as a stumbling, demented child king long enough. And as his empire crumbles, my precious Black Widow shall rise as his most fitting successor.
His words he speaks are true. We're all humanary stew. If we don't pledge allegiance to the Black Widow.
Welcome to Flyby Films. Once or twice a month, using the magic of distance-defying tubes or some spoopy shit like that, we get together to discuss films that either have been or will be forgotten. I'm your terrifying host, Blake Collier, and sitting next to me in this tiny, tiny little Riverside box is my friend and co-host, the immaculate, the charming, and the undead, Jameson Barsodi. On this episode...
It's true, I'm not dead.
What? Wait, you are dead? How are you talking if you're dead?
I feel like undead is like the state of everybody, right? It's just not
always.
Dead.
Yeah. It's just not... But it's also... I mean, it's also undead in the sense of zombies and vampires, which are slightly dead, but not dead.
It's always bothered me that we call them the undead, because it's like, yeah, no, that's the state of all living things, is undead. So, why, yeah.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's why you don't have to think about it very much. Just
Thanks.
take your mathematical brain, shove it up your ass, and don't think about these things.
You know
It's
what?
better off. It's better off.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking
What?
about how
What
you
were you thinking
censored. I was thinking about how you censored yourself when you said spooky. You censored it to spoopy, and
Yeah.
then immediately you said shit after, which was very funny. I don't know what it is, but I feel like spoopy is the censored version of spooky, even though spooky isn't really a curse word.
Is
it?
No, it's not. I've said spoopy for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is my wife gets so exhausted with me around this time of year because I will literally walk into a room and say, "Hey, wife, I just spooked myself," and she'll be like, "No, you didn't." I was like, "It's not. It's funny though, right?" And that's what I do like all the time around
I
this time
bet
of
it.
year.
I bet it gets really funny, like around the sixth or seventh time in the day that you do that.
That has not been the case so far.
Oh well, I
She
think
has yet
then
to laugh.
you need to go to like 11th or 12th. And then she'll start. She'll start getting on it.
Is this the theory of comedy? Whenever you say the same thing over and over and over again, and eventually it'll be funny, and then it'll stop being funny, and then it'll be
And
funny again.
then it'll be really funny again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. I like it.
I don't
I
know if
like it.
that's like an actual like that's. I think there's some theory of comedy about that. I think there was a This American Life about it, which nothing screams comedy like an NPR episode about comedy.
That's
But
true.
you know,
Though they do have a tendency to bring Mike Birbiglia on for those episodes, and he's pretty funny.
he's pretty funny. I do feel like the closer he gets to NPR, the less I'm going to laugh. But
That's fair.
the more he's like trying to like I guess like comedy worm my brain
Yeah,
so that I laugh later on.
that's
But
fair.
he is I do like Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah,
Birbiglia?
Birbiglia.
Birbiglia is
Yeah,
the
I saw
verb
him in
version.
Tulsa a couple of years ago. At this point, um, and he made fun of all the rich people who bought the seats in front and did not show up. And so
Hey,
he was telling everybody in the audience, "Hey, there's seats open. Like I will defend you if they come in late." And some guy randomly came in at some point, and he gave him so much shit. It was so funny. It was
that's
so
good.
funny.
That's good.
Yeah. Jameson, first off, you interrupted my intro.
Oh,
Uh,
please finish.
on this
The
episode, we are going to be talking about Scream and Scream Again and the Comedy of Terrors, which, if I remember correctly, we were both looking forward to both films.
we were looking forward to these films.
Yes.
Yes.
And I believe, if I'm going to check my notes here,
Are you, are you gonna read
Uh,
my text to you?
we are no. I'm not gonna divulge that yet.
Okay.
Scream and Scream Again was Gluttony,
Yes.
and
Which
Comedy of Terrors was Greed.
I wrote down gluttony, and I think I'm still a little confused. We'll talk about
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Yeah. I think it might have been my weakest one as far as the pairing goes, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get into it. Don't worry. Just calm your shit. Um,
Um.
so this is the final episode. This is our Halloween episode.
But what is it the final episode of? You didn't
This is the
tell
final
us.
episode of our series, our spectacular month of spooks or some shit like that. Um,
No. You fucked it up.
I mean, come on
It's a
now. Give me
it's a
some
com
credit here.
it's a comedy of spooks.
Spooktober Festival of Spooks.
Yeah.
Sins come at a price. See what I did there?
Oh, why is it at the end that we come up with the tagline for that?
Well, I came up with it after when I put the first episode out. I just can't. I just like unilaterally just picked a title
Yeah. Okay.
because we didn't do it,
This is true.
and
So
so
it is the Flyby
sins
Films.
come at a price.
Flyby Films.
Spooktober Festival of
Spooktober
Spooks. Colon. Sins come at a price.
Yeah.
Colon. Whatever sins we're talking about each week. Because here's the thing we've been doing in the last 2 or 3 years with this series is like 2 colons worth of title.
It's double the shit, double the colons. Double the colons, double the shit.
Someone's gonna have to do a colonoscopy on us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the end. This is the end of that series.
Yeah, but before we talk about movies, speaking of colonoscopies, I think it's time for some bullshit. So
okay, give me some bullshit.
How are you doing? You've had an October.
I was just talking to my wife about this. I said somehow with my dad dying, being out of the state for like 5 days just this last week, I still found a way to do all 5 of these episodes and write my typical 2 articles for Mockingbird during October.
Dude, yeah, no, I feel like I haven't even been that productive, but I still like did a lot of shit, and my October has been it feels like there's still like 3 days left or something like that. And it feels like multiple months since the beginning of the
and yet and this is the other thing I told my wife. At no point during this month did it feel like Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had to stop and think about Halloween in order to conceive
At least you had a Halloween party.
I did have a Halloween party, but even that was so far away from Halloween that I was like thinking about it as I was setting it up. I was like, is this a Halloween party? And yeah, we dressed up. There were spooky things, and it was full of parents who have kids that can't really take off time later in the month because they're doing family things.
Yeah.
So this was the reason why we booted it 2 weeks before Halloween. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, if we all celebrated Halloween correctly, then we would embrace the darkness for at least the month of October.
Mm-hmm.
If not into September, because all the other holidays are bleeding over. So why can't Halloween?
You know the one holiday that doesn't bleed over and stays in its lane and is perfect?
Thanksgiving?
Yes! How did you know?
Because it's your favorite holiday.
No, I feel like you knew it in your heart. I think that's why you knew.
That's how uninteresting it is.
No, Thanksgiving is polite and perfect.
Minus the Indian killing.
You know what? I'm sure a bunch of Indians were killed on Halloween at some point, so don't get all like self-righteous.
You know, I'm sure there were good people on both sides.
On both holidays. Yeah. Oh man.
To quote our great commander in chief. Yeah. Yeah, haven't really been in the Halloween spirit.
Do you have a costume
I
lined
do
up?
not. Mm-mm. I hardly
Do
ever do. I'm like
Okay.
so
Yeah, but
so so
okay.
Halloween is a vibe holiday for me. Like I just feel the vibes and I get with the darkness and I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is
Okay.
great. But I am horrible at actually like materially celebrating the holiday. Like we're gonna
Okay.
go trick or treating with my kids
Yeah.
on Friday, but that's it. Like we have my wife who could probably largely care less about Halloween. Let my oldest buy a skeleton that talks, so we have that on our porch. That's the closest
Hey,
thing to decorating we've had since we've lived in this house. Yeah. So I'm just really bad at it. That's
I
because I'm a
mean,
lazy fuck.
do you think of it like, uh, oh, speaking of screams in Halloween, my son is screaming in the background.
It's
Blood
fitting.
curdling. Yeah. Um, do you think of it like, I don't know, some sort of, high church process in a sense, like if you want to feel the spirit of the Lord, sometimes you don't feel it. You go and you do these practices to get you in
Mm-hmm.
the mood, and it gets you in the mood. I mean, do you think that might be what's missing in your holiday spirit? I know you were also really busy as all get out, so like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
I think there's something to that. I think there's rituals that I do generally during the month, and I mean, this is part of it.
okay,
I think
the
I think
Spooktober,
yeah, I think my dad dying put a real damper on things,
yeah,
and then on top of that, it's just been like kids, like kids, you never know how their school year is going to go. My oldest is in a new school, and so there's like all sorts of shit that we have to do for them
yeah,
and all this stuff. So yeah, I think a lot of it's just getting used to a new norm, and next year will be better. But also, my wife and I jokingly talk about the fact that I haven't had like a truly satisfying Halloween probably since we've been married. And so, because we say it's Halloween is for sufferers, because something always bad happens.
yeah.
Either it's like a death, or my wife and I will get into a fight on Halloween night, and it just like kills the night, or whatever.
Kills the
Like it
vibe. Yeah.
kills the vibe. So, yeah, I I think it. Admittedly, I'm gonna do my best, and I don't know how successful I'm gonna be, but I'm gonna try to watch the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy in the next 3 days.
Hmm.
Because I did at one point write a piece on Michael Myers and liturgy. Uh, the fact that the fucker keeps coming back to slash and slash. Yeah, but has it
Do
been
you?
Halloween for you?
Uh, I was gonna ask. Do you think it would have been more Halloween if your dad was a better ghost?
Oh, very much
Do
so.
you think he needs some practice, and
If
then
he had
next
haunted
year?
my ass, that would have been great.
Yeah.
That would have been priceless.
Well, I mean, as I know from the video you sent me,
Hmm.
ghosts can really only like uh, blow cold air and like
That's true.
maybe like shake around some things. So
Hmm.
it's not like they've got a lot. So they got to get creative.
That is
So
true. They
anyway,
do. They have
I'm
to
just
figure shit
saying,
out.
I'm just saying, your dad had a tight deadline on this Halloween, but next one. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's true. It's true. He really had to do some. He really had to do some soul searching. Um,
yeah,
so that brings up something I've been wanting to talk about for a while
yeah,
now.
Yeah, okay.
What's Jameson?
Please
What
save
is?
me from this terrible joke that I made. Um, I know you don't mind, but
Oh, I
please
don't give a
save
shit.
me. Yeah.
Um, what is the opposite of heaven in the Christian realm of theology and like
Oh, you mean
mythos?
not heaven?
Yes. What is
Yeah.
that called?
Oh, yeah. Not heaven. It's anything else but heaven.
Yeah.
Um, no. You're talking about hell.
And is that a popular thing to talk about these days?
Um, is it popular? I think talking about the reality of it isn't popular, but talking about the fantasy of it is popular for sure.
So you know what I find interesting is that I'm not sure outside of like certain branches or sects of Christianity that the topic of hell has ever been looked highly upon. I mean,
Hmm.
most people throughout the history of Christian thought have probably done their damnedest to avoid it, like the plague.
Hmm.
But yeah, I find myself still in the camp of people who believe in some version of it, which puts me at a significant disadvantage with most people that are alive right now. Um,
Well,
but I had someone at church ask me because I'm pretty vocal with the people that I know well at my church.
hmm.
That like I just can't buy into universalism as a solution to the whole hell problem. And
Okay.
they're always like, but you go to a church that is filled with people that are largely probably universalist. How does that make you feel? I was like, well, the way I look at it is they keep me honest. I
Well,
mean,
do you keep them
it's like the
honest?
counter social media. I'm not looking
Oh.
for an echo chamber. I'm looking for a chamber that like slaps me upside the head.
How often do you get slapped up the side of the head?
Not often because only like 3 or 4 people at the church know that I believe in hell.
I think I think you need to talk about your hell. Well, okay. So there's a difference between uh universalism and not believing in hell, right?
No, not according to some people in my church.
Okay.
I, I feel like there's two basic camps. There's the people that are like there's heaven and there's hell, and people go to both.
Yeah.
Depending on choose your theological poison, why that is. And then there's people who basically believe that at the end of the day, God saves all people, regardless of what they
Hmm.
do. And so, um, I think I probably would have ended up in the Universalist camp, except for the fact that I read a guy named Mirza Wolf, who is this
Hmm.
Eastern theologian,
Okay.
and he went through oppression in like I'm trying to remember, maybe Turkey. I don't remember. It's been
Hmm.
a while since I've read his book, End of Memory, but he basically makes the point that like anyone who doesn't believe in some form of hell probably doesn't fully understand the extent of oppression. Um,
Yeah.
and I've heard other people say that it's a very like upper class, middle upper class, white liberal position to hold, which makes sense. But anyways,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm also not one of those burn in hell kind of people either. I'm not a Dante guy, although I love reading Dante, but I don't believe it's an actual physical fire. Matter of fact, if you actually read Dante, the closer he gets to the devil, the colder it gets. But that's beside the point. But yeah, I tend to be more of the C.S. Lewis Great Divorce. People don't
Yeah,
realize what they got till it's gone.
yeah, I do think like I kind of land in the C.S. Lewis camp, but I land probably closer to universalist in that like I I don't know, a big part of my like theology of Jesus is that he was uh he was like a champion for the outcasts. And so if you like kind of process everything through that and you do believe in some sort of hell where people spend at least a certain amount of time, they become, outcasts, literally outcasts from heaven. And
Mm-hmm.
so, so there is like a part of me that's like at some point God will have pity
Mm-hmm.
and want to bring them back in, and he'll have the power to do that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what the mechanism is, I don't know. But yeah, I do think like the idea of like universalism where you like die, Jesus shows you a bright light where you're like, "Oh, I get it. Sorry for all the bad things I did." It's really like unsatisfied and flies in the face of justice. So like I do have this sense that like God reaches to the outcasts. He brings them out of their outcast nature. But I also think that he craves justice,
Mm-hmm.
or is justice, and we crave that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that that will, you know, I mean, I guess that's where faith comes in. Like, I don't know if things are going to be just in the end, but I have faith that they will be. And I have hope in that. But like, I do think that I think I guess like maybe I don't believe in eternity in the same way that we think of it, which is like
Mm-hmm.
you gotta spend eternity in one or the other, and then it's like ah I don't know, like yeah, God isn't changing, but he did submit himself to a time scale and may make us individuals who think in terms of time, and I
Yeah.
don't think that's a flaw necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So
You saw Black Phone too, correct?
yes, we both saw
Uh,
Black Phone too.
yeah, we both saw it, and I found that to be knowing, at least knowing what I recall of Scott Derrickson's theological bent. Um, at least the last time I interacted with him on Twitter, he was leaning more in the liberal theological camps, um, which didn't used to be the case. But I found Black Phone 2 to be strangely conservative in some weird ways.
It
And I
was
was
very
so deeply confused.
yeah, it was very much the C.S. Lewis approach to things too,
Yeah.
because it's like uh I mean, the character, Ethan Hawke's character, is clearly having a great divorce like experience with hell.
Hmm.
And yeah, so
I do like the sound bite from the movie that talks about hell as basically all of the good being stripped away from a person,
hmm
which I thought was an interesting take on it. And then the imagery of the frozen, of Ethan Hawke freezing as he drops down into the water,
yeah,
um, was very
that goes with your Dante.
Dante. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, anyways, I just figured we couldn't go the whole Halloween season without talking about hell.
You know,
I mean,
I
come on.
I believe in hell more than I believe in like Satan. I
Okay.
like a singular Satan. Um,
Satan.
yeah.
So you
um,
don't believe that Satan fell like lightning?
I do, because it's fun to believe in that. But like, I don't know how it all works.
Yeah.
No, I think yeah. I have to separate it too from like, there are myths in the Bible, and then there's also like histories
Yeah.
too. So you've got a whole host of things. And so like, yeah, some of the things I think I believe in because they're good myths to believe in, and then, some of the things that I believe in, I'm like, no, I think it's core to the faith and hope of it all that you believe that this is real, whether or not you can fully logic through it. So
Yeah.
So
This
anyway.
is a good time for a quick PSA for our listeners, whether they're believers or not. If anyone tries to tell you the literalism of the scriptures is taking it word by word and taking it just that way, they're full of shit, because at no point has it ever in the history of the church been that. It's always understood genre. It's always understood that some things are history, some things are stories. And not only that, but you look at the way the Hebrews understood theology and life, it was completely different than the way we do. So, wow.
I mean, I do think that there's pushback to this because of cherry pickers, right?
Oh, for sure.
And this is a thing that happens a lot, where people will cherry pick into the literal category the whatever they like as something, and then
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yep.
it's God hates gays and all of
Yeah.
that, and then and then you have I think it's used to kind of beat people over the head with things like in the Black Phone 2, I could tell that Scott Derrickson was seething a little bit at people quoting Philippians 4:8 at him,
Mm-hmm.
because he throws in that bit where it's like where that's quoted at the girl, and then the girl fights back to it, and literally
and
that's
calls the woman a sanctimonious twat.
yeah. No, the dialogue. Some of the dialogue
Some of the dialogue is rough, admittedly.
was not very choice.
No.
To use some of the dialogue against the dialogue. No, I think that girl talked about her brother's dick and jizz way more than is anybody comfortable with, which I was like, what is this? Like, she was using it as insults, but I was like, come on, like, no one is like, brothers and sisters don't do that. Like, anyway. But
it was definitely, her character was definitely more believable in the first one.
Yeah. No, there was.
Although I did enjoy the insults, I thought they were funny.
Yeah.
Maybe but they were unbelievable.
It was playful, but yeah. It was good. I enjoyed the movie. I think probably the biggest detraction would be some of the kind of uncanny nature of the dialogue.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of sent you a text where I was like, and I think part of this is because I don't think Scott Derrickson and I were in the same like deconstruction Christian circles or whatever, but I know that he was friends with Jeffrey Overstreet or whatever, and I was reading this guy, and he was talking about Scott Derrickson and how Scott Derrickson is this Christian filmmaker who's making real films. It's during this thing, and so I think I just could pick up on all the corny Christian shit that he's referencing in some of these things, and so I'm like, that's kind of funny. But all that being said, it is actually like interesting, and I think that his willingness to like not shy away from some of the more gruesome like children things actually lends credence to this this little bit of thing that he's doing where we like to justify anything by like, just think of the children, and
exactly.
and
And
then
if you like Nightmare on Elm Street, you'll love this one.
yeah. I think it's one of the stronger like 80s kids, nod to Stephen King movies.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
Yep.
which, it was written by Stephen King's son, so The Black Phone, so yeah.
Yeah. Although I never read the story or the book or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I haven't read any Joe Hill. Mainly because I just assume that he's as good as his father, which is not very good.
I watched that Daniel Radcliffe movie. This was the first time I realized Joe Hill was like an author, because his name was attached to it. I think it was called Horns, and it was I hated it. I just hated it.
It was not
good. So I was like, oh, I don't want to touch any of this with a 10-foot pole, and so I think that's where I was like, Joe Hill. But I like this, so maybe he has some good things. I don't know.
Don't ask me. Don't know.
Don't know. Me neither.
Yeah. I think that's a good segue into what is it? Scream and Scream Again?
Scream and Scream Again, which
I think I hyped this movie up a lot for you.
You did.
Did it? Okay, just break. Take it easy on me.
Okay.
Did it live up to the hype?
So, not exactly.
It's okay. You can say no.
Well, here's the funny thing. This movie is really weird.
It's weird as fuck. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And kind of boring as you're watching it.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. But it's taking a swing at originality, and I can't like fault it for the things that it's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it does come back into my mind. And I think that's a sign that there was something more going on.
Okay.
But it's not exactly a very easy film to get through, because it's just kind of a weird British, I don't know, like anomaly in a way. It was.
I couldn't quite get past the on this viewing. I couldn't quite get past the Nazi adjacent, group of people that were going on. Like they were trying to like maneuver their way into British society or something like that. It was odd.
There's an extra story. There's like, so the movie already has like 3 separate stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like an extra one that they're trying to jam in somehow that doesn't quite get in, any airway. So
I mean, I guess maybe the tie, and this is me being very generous and reading into it more than I probably should, but maybe the tie is one of the significant elements of Nazi thought included some form of eugenics. And so if you think about the kind of larger arc of what's going on in this movie, especially with the people getting amputated and whatnot, you can almost make a point that like the Nazis are kind of the puppeteers controlling the creation of a new race of people. I think you could read that into it. I'm not sure they're successful in tying that in very effectively, if that is in fact what they were going for.
Yeah, so Blake, this movie, Scream and Scream Again, it is 1972. I don't know,
Yep. Something
some
like that.
something
72,
like that.
73, I think.
It's a British film. Vincent Price is not a main character, but he
No.
is in it,
And he is a
undoubtedly.
main character. Get it?
He is a, what?
Like, he's
I
not in it very much, but
oh,
his role is significant.
he's he's an important character. Um, but the movie kind of starts off with a guy running, and then within 5 minutes, he wakes up in a hospital bed without his legs.
Yep.
And that's when you get your first scream. So you hear the first, or you get the first scream. I don't actually remember if you hear it or if it's silent.
Yep. You hear it.
You hear it.
You hear the first two.
Well, I was just going to say, you hear one scream, and then there's another one that the movie tempts you with in the title.
Yep.
So there's this whole, what's going on with this runner, and then there's another serial killer storyline where there's kind of a guy who's killing young women,
picking them up in clubs, taking them in his car, and then killing / Wikipedia says raping, but if I recall correctly from the movie, there was no semen found at the scene of the crime.
Well, and in the one murder that you do see, he doesn't rape her. He just kind of beats her up. And then you see an attempt at another one. So
score that against Wikipedia. Clearly they didn't watch the movie.
The liberal Wikipedia.
The liberal Wikipedia.
Inventing rape where there's not any rape. I mean, he's still terrifying these women.
Oh yeah.
And killing them. And then there's a geopolitical thriller plot line. And this is where the Nazi adjacent thing comes into play.
And this is where you get Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and all these guys.
Yeah, so Peter Cushing, poor Peter Cushing, just like gets pressure pointed to death very immediately. And then Christopher Lee, I'm actually not even sure if Christopher Lee was a part of the Nazi group or if that was a separate group or if he was, because he seemed like a British spy master.
He seemed like I struggled to figure out his whole role in the movie because I couldn't quite figure out if he was a double agent or he was just trying to neutralize the effects of the quote-unquote Nazi not Nazis, or what. Because at the end of the movie, whenever they defeat Vincent Price, who plays Browning, the guy who is putting the new race of people together, he gets tossed in the vat of acid. And the coroner, pathologist or whatever he is, and then the nurse, is it the nurse? Yeah, the police lady are escaping, and they ask him like, is it all over? And Christopher Lee's final lines are, no, it's only just beginning. And you're
only
like,
just beginning.
What?
So,
no, but the movie is literally over.
Yeah, right at the very end. Can we count how many vats of acid have there been in
at
these
least
movies?
2.
Okay, does House of Wax that doesn't count as a vat of acid,
No.
but it's okay.
It's really hot wax.
Really hot wax. Did Dr. Phibes have a vat of acid at some
I don't
point?
remember a vat of acid in the one we watched. No, I
Okay.
don't remember the first one if it had one.
So I thought there were 3 vats of acid, but I think what I'm
Maybe
doing.
Pit and the Pendulum?
No.
No.
There wasn't any acid there.
The
I
only
don't
one I
think they
could think
used.
of, maybe Madhouse?
Was
No,
there
I don't
acid?
think so.
Madhouse?
I don't think it was Madhouse either.
No. But definitely House on Haunted Hill and Scream Again.
Yeah.
And then I think what I'm doing is I'm including House of Wax because there's a hot wax, which isn't acid, but kind of
still hurts like heck.
Yeah, still is gonna kill you. And burn your skin off. But yeah, so another thing was I realized watching this movie, Christopher Lee really looked like Nicolas Cage. Like young Christopher
That's
Lee
hilarious.
reminds me of that. And what's so funny about this is I put this together watching Scream Again, and then I realized, and I don't know if it's because my phone is listening to me, this is already a meme in like cinephile land. Is like Christopher Lee and Nicolas Cage are just reincarnations of one another, which
I haven't seen those.
Make sense. I think it's kind of underground.
Gotcha.
But I did come across one in the wild, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not the only one.
You know what's so funny is that instead of Nicolas Cage, every time I think back to this movie and his role specifically, I want to say it's Donald Sutherland and not Christopher Lee. I have to stop and I'm like, no, it was not Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland was not in this film. It was Christopher Lee. And I have to do that every time. I'm like,
Donald Sutherland was in the other person takeover movie.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Body Snatchers. Yep.
Body Snatchers. That movie traumatized me as a child.
Oh yeah, especially the final shot.
Well, not just the final shot. I think I hadn't seen a lot of movies with nudity at that point, and that movie is rated PG, and there's a whole scene with like lots of boobs. So
and yet it's still not as bad as another Donald Sutherland film, which you have seen, which is Don't Look Now, which has like a 15-minute sex scene.
Yeah, I mean, so that's just how Nicholas Rogue rolls, man.
He's all about it. All
about that sex. So this movie is kind of a mess, right?
Oh, it's a massive mess.
I think that
and it makes me wonder why my dad loved it so much.
So as we're talking about the movie, I think I'm going to take a stab at this.
Okay.
You signed it up for Gluttony. Is this like a medicine where you're like, this movie wants all of the storylines? It's so gluttonous for content.
I think that is giving me way much more credit than I deserve, because that's actually brilliant. What I think I was going for is that whoever is stealing the legs and arms of all these people is really gluttonous for legs and arms and human appendages.
Well, there's also I can't believe we didn't talk about this. These people that are being created are essentially like vampires too, and that's I think yeah, they crave blood. And so that's what this guy who is
they exsanguinate their victims.
Oh, big words, Blake.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I do. Exsanguinate. Yeah.
They just suck all that blood out.
Suck it all
remember,
out.
The coroner is like, there's no blood in this body. It's all, and yet the inspector was like, well, there was no blood on the ground. So where did it go? It went in his mouth.
It went in his mouth, and then he jumped in the acid.
He jumped in the acid. Yeah, I was not as keen on this movie as I was hoping. On another viewing, I still appreciate that I will always appreciate someone that shoots for the fence and fails, then plays it safe. And so for that, like, there's enough going on here that I think it's an interesting concept. I found myself watching the movie thinking someone would have a hell of a time making a remake of this. And you could fix all of the issues with it, or at least fix most of the issues with it, and make it into a really, really batshit but fun movie.
You know who should do it? And he's not going to fix the issues. He actually might make it worse, but he will make it more fun.
Who's that?
Richard Kelly.
Oh, I was about to say, I was wondering if it was either going to be Richard Kelly or Panos Cosmatos.
Yeah, no, when we're like talking about this, it's definitely it's not as grand as Southland Tales, but I kept thinking there's a whole like book of content that's just not being talked about in the movie. And so I was like, that makes me think of Southland Tales. And then I actually had to do a double take because Richard Matheson actually wrote Comedy of Terrors, but I was getting it so mixed up in my mind. I was like, oh, this one was written by Richard Matheson. It is not. I double checked. It's written by
Peter Saxon, which was a fake name that several English writers used.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is dazzling indeed, Blake.
Yeah.
Dazzling indeed.
Do what I can.
But
it actually made me want to read the book. It's called The Disorientated Man.
That's cool.
And I kind of do want to find it and read it, because there's a world in which the book is even worse, but you also feel like that there's like information that we're not being given in the movie that might like help.
Yeah, I will say this story is interesting. It's interesting because it's like a literal body snatching story. But at no point is anyone saying aliens, which is kind of what's interesting about it. And I think might explain why there's a Nazi aspect to things based on kind of what you were saying, which is kind of the eugenics.
Yeah.
So, you know, in a way, it's an interesting movie. It's kind of dry, and it doesn't all come together at the end. So if you want to watch a weird British movie that has Peter Cushing, Vincent Price, and
Christopher Lee,
Lee,
also known as Donald Sutherland, and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, and if you want to watch, you know, just an interesting thing, I would say you could watch worse things.
Oh
yeah,
easily. You could watch Comedy of Terrors.
For example,
because like you said, I saw Richard Matheson wrote this, and I was like, okay, this might be okay. This might be okay.
Yeah, let's think about this. It's not just Richard Matheson.
No.
It's Richard Matheson, Vincent Price, Peter Lorre,
and I believe this was one of his last films.
It was. Also, I I read Wikipedia
Boris
again.
Karloff?
Yeah, but getting back to Peter Lorre, I read Vincent Price gave his eulogy. He was actually really good friends with Vincent Price, which was cool.
I could actually see that.
Yeah. Yeah, Boris Karloff, Basil Rathbone.
Mm-hmm. Who played
in the
No,
movie?
I mean, no, elsewhere.
Oh.
One of his most famous roles.
Oh my god. You're just gonna have to tell me.
Also known, other actors who have played him. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, Sherlock Holmes.
Yes. He was my dad's favorite Sherlock Holmes. By a stretch.
That's cool. And I could see that. Yeah, Boris Karloff. And then, yeah, no. Also, I knew... I didn't put it together until, like, I started. I was like, oh, duh. Shakespeare. It's, you know, it's a whole riff on Shakespeare.
Yep.
And so, yeah. Also, it has like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that you should believe that, but like, I was like, okay, maybe this is one of these hidden gems from the time.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There are parts of this film that are deeply entertaining.
The opening
is
the actually opening? Really funny. There's a funeral service, and they dig it back up, drop the body, and grab the coffin so that they have the coffin again to save some money. And I think this is one of our best sin to movie connections.
Yes. Although I would say the only other one that I would say might give it a run for its money is this would have worked well for Sloth.
Yeah, this would have worked well for Sloth, but it was definitely like greed and sloth, and both of those things describe Vincent Price's character. I also want to call out. Vincent Price does an awesome. He's great. He's almost fun to watch if he wasn't so fucking mean in this movie. Exactly. But he does a really good job of playing a different character than we've seen before.
Yeah.
And I think he establishes like a lot of chops because he's just naturally flowing very, he is kind of believable, and that's so weird because after watching him in all of these other roles where he's kind of hamming it up in this like over the top horror guy, he not that he's not hamming it up in this, but but
he's playing against type. He's playing kind of a where he's usually a horror maestro with finesse. He's playing kind of a lazy asshole with finesse.
Yeah. No, he is not skilled. He is not smart. I mean,
he's a drunk.
He's kind of like cunning, but like he's a drunk. He's lazy, and he's all these.
He clearly doesn't know what he's got in his wife. He's it's nuts. I will say the gag with Basil Rathbone where he just refuses to die cracks me up.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Boris Karloff is the wife's father, and the whole gag with him wanting to take his medicine and they're always taking it away from him, which it turns out it's actually poison. There are specific gags that run through the whole movie that I took immense joy in.
Yeah.
And I think that overall the acting is really great in the movie. So there's a lot of things that like are really good about the movie, and yet they all add up to something that doesn't quite work.
It is a chore to watch.
Yeah, it is.
And
for an hour and 20-minute movie.
Yeah,
it is a chore.
this is me like going in and like kind of being delighted at first. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he's, Vincent Price is playing against type. There's some good slapstick, but
Mm-hmm.
then it starts getting old, and like part of it is like, is Vincent Price is just unrelentingly mean and
Yeah.
nasty, and the movie just watches him the whole time.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, like I think the movie could have used maybe a little less focus on him, and then bringing him in every once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how you do that, but and then there is some good slapstick. I will say some of it definitely felt like, oh, they're doing this because this is what comedies do
Yep.
back then, and it. I will say I think we've come a long way in the blending of horror and comedy
Oh yeah.
genre. Um, I think that that's actually a thing that we are doing better and better, and maybe, I know we like to give kind of our current movies shit, but I think a lot of the directors that I appreciate are able to say, oh, you don't actually have to have this sharp, divide between drama and comedy,
Yeah.
or thriller and comedy and things like that. You can actually, like, the real life is weird and bizarre, and you
Mm-hmm.
can, create something surreal like that. I know you and I have been watching the Chair Company,
Yeah.
and
Which is every bit that.
which, yeah, it's like, I recently rewatched. Speaking of the Chair Company, I recently rewatched Friendship so Kira could watch it,
Mm-hmm.
and that movie is completely billed as a comedy, but it works as a horror too. Like,
Yeah.
it's very creepy. So yeah, this movie I didn't really enjoy, and actually I had the last 15 minutes left, and I
Mm-hmm.
barely made it through last night. So
When it's what's so funny, and this is probably the biggest offense about this movie is that this movie was directed by Jacques Tournier,
mhm.
who have you seen any of his other movies?
Well, didn't he
He
do?
did Cat People.
Okay, I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Cat People. He did I Walked with a Zombie. He did some really fantastic horror films,
Mhm.
like moody and like thoughtful and visionary like films.
Mhm.
And then he does this, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, I mean, it's clear. It's a clear like, and I think you could probably say that he's the reason why he got all of the good acting out of people.
Mhm.
But I don't know what happened in the writing of this. I expect more from Richard Matheson. This is far from his only time writing a screenplay. He wrote
Yeah.
shit tons of screenplays, um, and so
He did the Pit and
something
the
something
Pendulum as
happened.
well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and something happened here. I don't know what the breakdown was, but because if you look at it on paper, it should be a 100% Rotten Tomato.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing about what you see on paper should tell you that this is a chore to get through. And yet,
Yeah.
I was sitting in the airport. I was coming back from California at 5:30 in the morning. I was watching it because I had 5 hours before my flight, and I was like, "All right, well, I'm kind of ready for this to be over,
Yeah.
so I
And
can wait at the airport."
and Blake, just so you don't feel like that maybe you were not in the right state of mind because it was 5 in the morning and
Yeah.
you maybe didn't have sleep. I watched it on a Friday night rested, had plenty of time, and I had to turn it off 10 minutes before because I was way too tired by that point to continue, and I didn't want to finish the last 15 minutes, but I did because we're talking about it. So
that's hilarious.
I was in a good state, and I didn't enjoy it. So yeah. Anyway.
So would you say that once again in this series, we had premature ejaculation?
Yeah.
We didn't make it to quite to Halloween before we just let it loose.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't know what to do with this, do you?
I don't. I don't actually
think of it as the month of October, and our podcast is a one big sexual act, and you're like hoping to wait till the very climax for it to just like explode.
Blake,
and I don't think we made it. I think we hit better films. Before these.
Really appreciate this. I feel like what you're doing is you're trying to reclaim the worst joke of the episode territory.
I'm trying to make you look better.
I think you may have done it. Anyway. Yeah, so did we is this like a common thing where we save the worst film? I don't.
I think except for last year.
Okay, last year, what did we watch? What did we talk about on Halloween?
We talked about Longlegs.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
That's a great film.
We've only had 3 of these, Blake. Or 4? Is this the 4th?
4.
Oh
this
my god. 4th.
Yeah, because remember our first one, the first one was potentially still the worst. Because we were doing the Candyman sequels. And the Urban Legend sequel. And then then the next year we did the found footage.
Oh yeah, found footage.
And then we did Perkin for Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year.
Yeah.
Sin's coming to Price. Yeah.
Like, okay. We saw some duds. And yeah, the Comedy of Terrors, that's a dud. But we also saw some winners.
Yes, we did. Is it time to name our list?
I think it's time where we give our list of our favorite Sins Come at a Price movies.
Okay. Do you want to start?
I will. I have mine in front of me. So, at number 1... Oh, should I count up?
I don't care.
I'm going to count up.
Okay.
At number 8, worst film we watched.
Okay, so anytime here's the deal. Anytime that we agree on a ranking, I'm going to just say agree.
I think we're gonna agree a lot, actually. I told Kira before, I was like, I think we're gonna have very similar lists. It might get different in the middle, but
yeah.
At number 8, not Comedy of Terrors. But
me neither.
Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine.
Yes.
Which was lust and was
hardcore agree.
Terrible movie.
By a stretch, no less.
By a stretch. So, if you think we're shitting on the Comedy of Terrors, Comedy of Terrors has some bright spots. Dr. Goldfoot, I was like, is this a good idea? Because we started with this movie, and I was like, I don't know anymore. And I'm glad we pushed through because they're much better films. Number 7, I put The Comedy of Terrors.
Me too.
Okay, agree. Good. This is where I think we might start disagreeing.
Okay.
Number 6, I put Madhouse.
Okay, we did disagree there. I put Pit and the Pendulum.
You know, now that I'm looking at it, I almost wanted to switch those as I was like saying it. But,
did you have Pit and the Pendulum at 5?
Pit and Pendulum at 5,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because we had those switched.
Okay, so again, very close, but yeah. So Pit and Pendulum was 5. Number 4, Scream and Scream Again.
Okay. So I actually had Scream and Scream Again at 3, weirdly enough. But I actually, based on this conversation, I think I'm gonna agree with you. I think it belongs at 4. House of Wax
Okay.
deserves a little bit better.
Oh, you put House of Wax at 3.
Yeah, I'm going to put House of Wax at 3.
Oh yeah. Okay. I put
And
House
Scream
on
and
Haunted
Scream Again. Oh,
House
you
on
put
Haunted
whoa,
Hill
yeah.
at 3.
Oh
Okay.
no. House of Haunted Hill is number 1 with a bullet.
Oh, okay. I put House on Haunted Hill at 3.
Okay.
At 2, it sounds like we agree at 2. Dr. Phibes Rises Again.
Yep. Agreed.
And then I put House of Wax at 1.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
There's just enough change.
There's just enough change. Yeah, and I mean, I'll even switch Pit and Pendulum and Madhouse around so that we have.
If it hadn't been for that fucking ending on Madhouse, I might have put it below Pit and Pendulum.
Yeah,
but the ending freaks me out, man.
The ending
because I can't tell who is it. Is it Vincent Price or is it Peter Cushing?
It's no, the ending is weird in that one, and I did appreciate the ending for that one. So if you're into waxiness, go with my list. House of Wax top 1.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into Haunted Hills,
if you're into vats of acid,
more vats of acid.
Yeah.
I think ultimately what I just loved the turn in House of Wax so much, and it just makes me giddy thinking about it.
Well, and that's what makes me want to put it at 3 instead of 4 where I had it. Because, like I said, I think there's a lot to like about Scream and Scream Again, and it's like, and its willingness to try something.
Yeah.
But I think House of Wax is much more satisfying.
Yeah, I think I will say too, like if you get to number 6 on this list, those movies are all worth watching. So the 75% of this list was pretty good, which I think is a good hit rate. You don't have to watch Comedy of Terrors or Dr. Goldfoot, the Bikini Machine. So
definitely not Dr. Goldfoot.
Yeah. So well, Blake, this was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
I'd pay this price again.
But would you sin again?
I am going to sin again.
Won't we all? All right. Well, I'll see you on the sin field. Bye.
Okay. Bye.